Okay, brief. Did Quindarius Zachary ever claim to be on 285 or the highway when any buses were shot at or shot?
I don't believe so.
Okay, did he ever claim to be a witness to the actual shooting?
No.
Okay. He did tell you that someone was in a Camaro with Jimmy Winfrey, but he could not identify that person, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, best evidence.
I mean, they can't have it both ways, Judge. They can't stop me from playing the video and then complain when I don't play the video.
Your Honor, they just saw the video, so objection is to a waste. If we want to continue and expedite.
If she could answer the question.
What's the question again? I'm sorry.
He claimed that someone was in the Camaro, the white Camaro with Jimmy Winfrey, correct?
Okay, yes.
But he couldn't identify that person.
I don't believe he stated a name.
Okay. And he claimed that at Club Compound, he saw Shannon getting into Dolly's Jeffrey's sister, correct?
Okay, yes.
Dolly's Ford Explorer.
Yeah, I don't recall.
You know Dolly's Ford Explorer to be bluish green, correct?
I'm aware of the interview, but I don't recall off the top of my head what vehicle he stated he got into.
Okay.
That wasn't the vehicle with him, with Mr. Zachary.
You know Dolly's Ford Explorer to be bluish green, correct?
Correct. That's what I've heard.
Okay. Have you spoken to the bus driver who was out there that night on 285 driving Lil Wayne?
I have no reason to speak to the bus driver.
Are you aware?
Yeah, I'm going to object if Mr. Sharp is going to ask about another witness's testimony or anything like that.
I don't know what I was going to ask about.
Are you aware that the descriptions for the cars?
Objection, Your Honor. That would call for speculation. She said she was not out there. And hearsay.
Are you aware that the descriptions of the cars involved given by the bus driver were a white Corvette?
Hang on, sustained with regard to hearsay at that point, yes.
Do you have any idea what the descriptions given by the bus driver were?
Objection, Your Honor. That's for the same reason, and it's irrelevant whether she knows what a description was. And Mr. Sharp has no good faith basis for asking. She has testified that was not her primary investigation. She didn't speak with them.
Sustained.
Did Quindarius Zachary ever put Shannon in a white truck the night of the Lil Wayne shooting?
When I interviewed him, no.
No? Okay. Do you know of Shannon Stillwell?
Objection, Brooks, and hearsays and relevance.
Sustained about relevance.
Okay. I'm gonna move to the discussion you had with Mr. Zachary about confessions allegedly given to him on the night of January 10th, 2015, okay? Okay. When you're investigating a crime or talking to a witness, you would agree that it's important to nail down details, correct? Okay. I mean, you can feel free to disagree. It's either yes or no. I don't know what okay means.
Do I feel as though it's important to nail down details? Yes.
And at the time of this interview with with Quindarius Zachary, I know you weren't the lead investigator of the Donovan Thomas case, correct? Correct.
This is an ad for Hasbro. This is my Beyblade Tops collection. Sword Phoenix 960 GF. This is an attack type, and its bit has a large attack.
Some parts of the investigation, yes.
You had sat down with Kenneth Copeland multiple times, right?
Correct.
And all that was prior to your meeting with Mr. Zachary, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I let that breathe on here.
And regarding these alleged confessions, you would certainly want to obtain the contextual details surrounding the confessions. Correct.
Objection vague.
The confession as far as Mr. Thomas's death?
Yes. You'd want to know the contextual details
Objection,
surrounding the
Your Honor,
confession.
regarding alleged confession. It mischaracterizes.
Sustained.
As an investigator, you would want to nail down the contextual details.
Objection, contextual details as to what? Vague.
Overruled. If she doesn't understand, she can express that.
I understand.
You would want to know who supposedly confessed.
Objection, Your Honor, there's, again, the court sustained the objection as to alleged confessions. So continuing on that.
Sustained.
Your
Sustained.
Honor, my client is presumed innocent,
Understood.
And Your Honor,
and I'm not accepting that there was any confession. So I'm going to say presumed. I'm going to say alleged confession.
Shot. I'm gonna excuse you. I don't think that. No, excuse you.
yeah,
I don't think the problem is with the word alleged. I think it's with confession.
yes.
I don't know what else to call what we're. I'm willing to call it whatever, except I'm not going. With all due respect, Your Honor, I'm not going to follow the court, but I'm not going to call it a confession.
Yeah, I think she agrees to that. I think that's what her objection is.
So, what Mr. Zachary is saying that Mr. Zachary said that my client came up to him and said he just killed someone. I don't know what other term that Ms. Love would prefer to use. I'm willing to use another term, but I don't know what else to call that.
That's love.
It was state statement, co-conspirator hearsay, you're on a confession is something
I
made
use
to.
that.
He's not alleging to have said anything, to law enforcement. So
And there's not sustained as to the word confession. Could you use the word state?
I'm willing to do whatever your honor asks me to do, as long as I can say alleged.
Well, sure, you can say that to me. Okay. Let's everybody take a break. And let's hope that at some point this afternoon we get through this examination. Mhm.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching our coverage of the Young Thug trial. Now I want to take a quick second and I want to tell you about this stream's awesome sponsor, Upside. So what's Upside? Upside is a free app that gets you cash back on daily essentials like gas and groceries. So when I go to pump my gas, I can use the Upside app and get cash back. Real cash back. It's money that appears in your Upside app that you can transfer straight into your bank account. So once you have the Upside app, you claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside. You pay as usual using a debit or credit card. You follow the steps in the app and you get paid. And as you saw me just do, you can use Upside at places like Shell, Exxon, Mobil, 7-Eleven, Taco Bell. That's just to name a few, by the way. There are so many more. So to find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside or scan the QR code on screen and use our promo code LC Live and you'll get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's promo code LC Live for an extra 25 cents back on your first gallon of gas.
adjournment. Please record. Welcome back, investigator. Statement. Objection. As an investigator, when would you not want those details? Explain to me a situation where you wouldn't want those details. It's not a situation that I would not want those details, but if we're speaking about something in context, a specific incident, investigations are not the same. Yes, the generalized who, what, when, that's essentially what you want to obtain, but sometimes that's not always important by the person that's giving the information. Okay, but you would like to know. That's what I just saying, general. So, and you also know exactly what you said. It's close to the word. Correct. Correct. Okay. So let's talk about what Darius Zachary said other said during that interview. Okay. When Darius Zachary claimed that Dar, Demise McMullen, confessed it during that interview. You know, with respect to the confession part. Yes. When Darius Zachary in that interview in August 2015 claimed that Demise McMullen, also known as Dar, made statements to him about the Donovan Thomas murder. Good morning, everybody.
Danny, what are you doing up there?
Watch the fresh morning prep. The sizzling bacon, the slicing of tomatoes, the popping fresh lettuce. You know my lease says I get free subs. Freshly cooked every morning. It's a Jersey Mike's thing.
Terrifying. It's designed to with customizable tools. Document sharing
Myers McMullen said something to him, and then later on in the interview saying Myers McMullen did not say anything to him. Do you find that to be pretty consistent? In the majority of Mr. Zachary's interview, he was consistent with the statements that he made. That was good enough. From your point of view, be pretty consistent. Yeah. Let's talk about what Mr. Zachary claimed, the statement Mr. Zachary claimed that Mr. Kendrick gave to him. You actually asked him at 2:53:26 in the interview. You asked him for contextual details. You said exactly what did Mr. Kendrick said. Right? It's okay. And so that you wanted to determine the exact words. You also wanted to ask him where this was said. When it was said, correct? Yes. And when you asked Darius Zachary those questions about what he was planning, supposedly said Mr. Zachary, correct? But I used those contextual details. Okay, well, I want to be on the same page as you. You asked him when it occurred. Yes. And he told you at 2:51:15 in the interview that he, Mr. Zachary, needed to move to Mr. Sledge, had just pulled up to Doug's house. Doug's got Shannon was planning on going to see some girls and then asked for a firearm, correct? Yes. And he told you at that point, before Mr. Stillwell went to see these girls, right after Zachary showed up, that's when he told Mr. Jackson compound. Sustained. Okay. Mr. Zachary told us at this time that Mr. Stillwell supposedly stated that he caught nut down there. Okay. Play DS41D. That's 2:51:15 to 2:50. What they were. After viewing that video, would you agree that Mr. Zachary's story to you was that, and Mr. Zachary also told you that he showed up at the condo round. Right? Which part do you want to answer first? Not yet. Is that what he said?
You were asked if, on direct, if you made any promises to Mr. Zachary. Remember that? Promises about bond or promises about a lenient sentence. I believe so. Okay, and you said that you don't have the authority to guarantee someone a lower sentence, right? Correct. Okay, and you don't have the authority as a police officer, I'm not saying you personally, but as a police officer, you don't have the authority to guarantee someone bond, correct? Correct. And you didn't do that. You didn't make any guarantees, correct? Correct. Okay. Do you recall Mr. Zachary when he came to talk to you? Well, let me ask you this. In the calls, did you have any calls with Mr. Zachary before August 5th, 2015? Before? Yes. Like you said his family was calling. Did Mr. Zachary ever call you? No, I don't believe so. Okay. You say you don't believe so? No. Okay. These family members certainly expressed to you a desire for Mr. Zachary to be released, correct? To be released or for me to come talk to him, pick him up to talk to him? Both. I don't recall about a release. His family was calling, asking could I go pick him up because he wanted to speak to me. Okay. When you got into the interview room with him, he repeatedly stated that his desire was to be released on bond, correct? Correct. He stated I need to wear an ankle monitor, but he just needed to get out of jail.
Your Honor,
Correct.
I've checked, they've heard the interview.
I'm sorry, what?
I've checked best evidence. There, Mr. Shard is asking what you repeatedly stated, so they've heard the interview.
That's my door.
I don't see the way.
Best evidence.
Can you repeat your question?
Mr. Zachary, during the interview, repeatedly stated his desire to be released on bond.
And your objection is best evidence?
Yes.
Sustained.
Your Honor,
Yes.
as an advocate, I'd like to be able to ask questions about the video that was just played. I think it's to highlight certain aspects.
So I've sustained the objection. You may ask a different question.
Okay. Mr. Zachary indicated to you that Summer, his girlfriend, had told him it would be in his best interest to come talk to you, correct? Yes. And you agreed with him. You said absolutely. Right? Now, when we talk about corroboration, that's something that you would do after the interview, correct? Check behind details or facts or claims, correct? Are we talking about if someone told me something? Yes. Yes. I would try to attempt to. Right, but that would be something done after the interview, correct? Yes. Okay, and you weren't corroborating things in real time with Mr. Zachary, were you? In the interview room? Well, if that was a piece of evidence that I had in hand, like investigator Dennis had a video or I had phone records, I was able to corroborate in that moment, but we're just talking about based upon just something he said that happened. No, I was sitting in the interview room with him. Right. So you certainly weren't corroborating, I understand you had the phone record for April 28th incident, but you had those on hand during the interview, correct? The April 28th incident phone records? Yes. Okay. But regarding the Donovan Thomas case where you weren't the lead investigator, you didn't have materials to corroborate in real time his claims about that, did you?
Um, I'm trying to remember. There were some persons that we had cell phone records of that we knew were involved in retaliatory shootings. So if we would again obtain probable cause or a search warrant for the cell phone records, some of the persons involved, we would go back to January to see if they were involved in any of the incidents that we could corroborate. So that if it, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. So again, if it was a person that we had some of those persons, we would go back to January to try to get some corroborating evidence.
But those materials were in relation to retaliatory shootings, as you're deeming them retaliatory shootings, not the January 10th, 2015 incident.
January 15th.
You had materials, you're talking about materials you had regarding, and these are your words, retaliatory shootings. Though you didn't have documents or what you're talking about did not involve the actual January 10th, 2015 incident, involved things that happened afterwards, correct?
I cannot say for certain that the three persons, I can't say yes or no out of the persons that we had, that we didn't go back to January the 10th of the Donovan Thomas murder. You say retaliatory shootings, which were in effect because of the murder. So of course we would go to January 10th and not just the first date that we've known about the shootings, retaliatory shootings.
Let me ask you this when we're talking about corroboration. What you say? During that interview at 3:36:10, investigator Dennis tells Quindarius Zachary, "You're doing great. You're doing a great job. I can't express to you the magnitude of what you're saying." Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And at 3:36:57, during that interview, investigator Dennis says, "These next couple of hours will determine the rest of your life." Correct?
Yes.
And then, of course, Mr. Zachary asks, "Can you release me on house arrest?" Right?
Okay. Yes.
And during that interview, on August 5th, 2015, you told Mr. Zachary, "I'm going to get on the phone with the DA ASAP. You have my word." Correct?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Are there other defense attorneys who have questions for this witness? Aye. Yes.
Back. No, thank you. Thanks. I'd like to ask you your background, and if I'm getting too far afield, just say it's beyond your knowledge, okay? When you were doing policing and you obtained surveillance video images from, let's say, a business or okay, I want you to focus on that. I heard you say today that you did that for the car, the studio involved when you watched the 10 cars go. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't say I did. I said investigator didn't still.
Okay, you didn't see you didn't see the,
I viewed it, yes.
okay. Now, in 2015, that's the date I'm focused on. Were there different types of memorializing or capturing of the images whereby some business can hold the data or the images for 30 days, some would hold them for a year, some 15 days? Would it just depend on the particular product that they use?
I'm not aware of any. I don't have any technological background or things to obtain video to know how long a particular system holds information.
Okay, how about this? From your experience, could you get a video, let's say, that you investigated something that happened a month ago? Would you go to the scene where there may be a video camera and see whether it holds for 30 days or more? Have you been able to capture that type of distance? That type of time?
I've investigated cases where sometimes it holds it for 30 days, sometimes 3 days, sometimes a year. It's all dependent on that particular system or what's happening in a specific investigation.
And when the system which about hold the images, at some point, because of storage, if you don't know this, I don't know, the storage, sometimes some of the images fall off. It's too old to keep on the storage. Is that your experience?
I'm not an expert in technological video expert extraction, so I can't answer.
Let's not talk just from your experience. Is there a date where it just can't hold? Where people tell you, when you find out it's too old, the data won't hold? That's what I'm asking you.
Objection, foundation.
I'm asking other experiences.
If you ask me, if video has been overwritten, is that
Sure.
that's what you asked me? Yes, I've heard of that. Yes.
I think so. Okay. Have you ever dealt with a system that after, let's say, I'm using an example, 2 weeks, all the data is overwritten?
Objection, dated relevance as to a system.
When you mean dealt with the system, what do you mean?
When you're investigating your own system, that have experience that all the data is gone 2 weeks from that day, it's all gone, it just starts brand new? Or is it more of a rolling system?
I'm not sure what you asked.
Let me answer. Week of Perks is back at Potbelly. Join us for great deals on our toasty sandwiches, sweet treats, and more. If you're not a Potbelly Perks member, sign up now or enjoy watching everyone else have all the fun. Visit potbelly.com or download the app. McDonald's. Okay. You hold the image, I'm making all this up. Holds the image till for 2 weeks, January 14th, 2015. Okay. Have you ever had experience where on midnight going into January 15th, 2015, everything for the last 2 weeks, in my example, from January 1st forward to January 14th at 11:59 is wiped out and start anew? Or is it that certain parts of the system that they keep rolling over, just makes you roll and you keep adding the days, if you know?
I've been told on occasions, a system like I just stated, if it's longer than their saving period or cloud period, it'll override itself and go save it. I've been told that. That's what you. Okay, I'm answering your questions.
Okay, no, that's fine. Let's go back to the surveillance I just asked you about, McDonald's. You and Detective Dennis interviewed Kenneth Copeland, and I'm just focused on the last time, or one of the last times, June 10th, 2015. Okay? I know Detective Thorpe was there, but, and ATF agents, but from that interview, you and Detective Dennis go down to McDonald's to inquire about their surveillance. Remember that? Yes, sir. All right. And you got the number, the name of the person who gave it to Detective Thorpe, the homicide detective on this case, to follow up. Yes, sir. Were you ever told by Detective Thorpe that he had already gone to the McDonald's on or about the 11th or 12th of January 2015 to look at that video?
Objection that comes for hearsay and relevance as to whether or not Detective Thorpe ever told you.
It won't indicate. Yes. I was not told. Now, you were asked about truly humble under God. You remember those questions earlier today? Or that question earlier today? Yes, sir. Tell the jurors and tell us where, in all of your work on this case involving Mr. Williams, anytime where you ever had an interview, a conversation where you asked, or someone in your presence asked, or someone told you what THUG stands for. There's never been a question asked of me. With regards to the repost, and if you need to see it, please just tell me. I just have to refresh my. You said the word repost. And if you need to see it, we're going to show it to you. January 26, 2015, Mr. Garlington, you helped the jurors see it previously. It starts out with Mr. Williams. I'm not quoting, I think it is a quote, but I don't want to quote it. I don't get it. People lie to their kids, lie to their mothers, lie to their, okay. Do you have the number that is? John, have just one moment. I'm going to, the state is helping me out. Ms. Hilton's helping me out. Can I ask other questions over the meantime? Okay. They're helping me out, so we'll come to that. Okay. Do you remember being shown State's Exhibit number 526YY? If you can help me out, Mr. Atkins. And with the court's permission, this is already in evidence. And just orient yourself with it if you don't mind. This is already in evidence. It's the number I just announced. And do you remember this?
Why? I don't think that's it. Is that what you said?
I believe that's, you admitted.
Said it would be admitted and tendered. I don't believe it was tendered.
It was tendered today, right? Okay, I'm moving on. Thank you, Your Honor. Okay. This
It's been called several things: gang war, beef. You testified earlier, and please correct me. I do not look at your transcript. This started from your investigation approximately fall 2014. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
All right. Now, you have information through your investigation that the fall, well, let's establish the fall. Approximately we're in the fall now, September, October, November, December, something like that. 2014, would you say that's the fall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you know that Jeffrey Williams was with Donovan Thomas, friendly with Donovan Thomas in the months of September, October, November, December, January 2000. Well, it was 2014 going into 2015. Fair to say?
I don't know that for certain.
You were told that.
Um, Not necessarily, no.
You saw pictures. I'm sorry if there's an objection. You saw pictures,
Saw pictures of what?
Instagram pictures, postings, concert flyers
Of what, sir?
of Mr. Williams and Mr. Donovan Thomas together.
During those times of October, November.
Fall 2014, September, October, November, December, going into the beginning of January.
I don't recall.
Your Honor, that was really compound, so.
Oh,
I don't recall seeing any pictures during that time. You mean posted?
Sure.
I'm asking.
Social media.
Hold on. I'm asking. Do you mean did I see pictures of them in October, September, December of 2014? Like at that exact time?
are you asking if
Yes.
she saw the pictures then, or if she
Oh.
eventually saw pictures from them?
The second.
If I eventually saw pictures of them, I believe I have that it was videos or something like that.
And same question though.
Yes, sir.
Not as complicated. Rich Homie Kwan, you know who that is, Mr. Lamar?
I've heard of them, yes.
Same thing, performing with Mr. Williams in the fall 2014 going into January 2015.
I don't know the exact dates, no.
Okay. Now, Mr. Zachary told you, and we watched it, he told you that this was really a battle, whatever word, war with, he called him Woody, but Kenneth Copeland, and he said Shell Kel, but Mr. Kelvin Watts. True.
Yes.
And that Jeffrey and Donovan Thomas were friends during this. True.
I don't recall him saying they were friends.
Okay, I'm going to get you some. Do you know the transcript, or would you like to see the recording?
Whatever you want to show me.
You lucky I ain't want to hit your shit. Yeah. Where you just coming from?
about what Jeffrey didn't hear, but about that. Yeah. It's exactly given the process. That was so. As a David that's a it's what I'm
Got it answered.
right. I think Detective Gates said I don't remember.
Okay, I could, yes, you may.
You could just listen to this first. Yeah. He feels it like he looks like, but then sound like if he go to the it's a goal. There is won't be going back so. Is that right? Of what was played earlier today or yesterday? That's what we played, yes. Okay, and that's Detective Dennis asking Mr. Zachary in your presence what was a thug-like meaning after the death of Dr. Thomas, right? Yes. And the answer, Mr. Zachary said, SHI, he was normal. Is that what you just heard? Yes. And then Detective Dennis said he didn't give no FU blank K, right? Yes. And then Mr. Zachary said, I mean, he cared. Like why did they kill Nut? Like, but then I guess they told him that Nut said it's a go. They really be, and would he really be holding back? Is that what you heard? Sure. I think we all heard. Okay. So when the prosecutor was asking you earlier that, Jeffrey Williams was, listen, my word, insensitive. That's not what Mrs. Zachary said, right?
I object to the mischaracterization of anything that.
All right, now the questions aren't evidence anyway, and you said it was his word, so
That he was insensitive. I don't recall hearing that.
And it said that, I guess, they told him, not said it's a go. But they really be, would he really be holding back? And he goes on to would he lies? Or Mr. Copeland, right? Lies to Jeffrey. That's what it was about, correct?
I don't believe he said Woody lies to Mr. Williams.
Now, with regards to what you know from looking at social media, Jeffrey Williams put forth the rest in peace social media platform announcement, didn't he?
What are we talking about?
January 11th, 2015, very early in the morning, 3 or 4 in the morning, you're aware that Jeffrey Williams paid tribute to Donovan Thomas, right?
I'm not aware.
You've never seen that posting?
Yeah. The witnesses answered, so I object to answered and assuming.
I'm not aware.
Can I refresh your memory with something? Can I show you the posting or you don't know? you've never seen it.
Your Honor, I object to this. Testifying, the witness said she,
Not testifying, overruled.
I don't recall seeing.
Can Mr. Kokomo approach?
For the purpose of potentially refreshing the witness's recollection.
Yes.
Do you think that something might refresh your recollection, Sergeant Gaither?
He can show me, but I don't recall. Can you bring it up?
Bauer Power Tools from Harbor Freight. Use one battery system to make quick work of your outdoor jobs.
Watch that.
Recognize that social media.
Your Honor, I'd ask that, that question not be the question, but whether her memory is refreshed as to whether she ever saw any social. Would
Does that refresh your memory?
Does that refresh your memory?
Yes, but not in that context that you're using it for, sir.
Okay, you've seen that posting before?
I've seen that posting on that page before, yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I am moving for the admission of Mr. Williams' number
Your Honor,
42.
I'd ask to approach it now.
Okay. You're gonna need a restroom break anyway.
What you were just shown by Mr. Kokomo,
Yes, sir.
have you seen that entire posting before?
I've seen the photograph before.
How about the words underneath the photo, posting of words underneath the photograph?
I don't recall the exact words, but I have seen the actual photograph before.
Okay, I understand the photograph. Now, have you also read the content that went with the photograph if you saw that as a posting?
And Your Honor, again, I object based on what I stated at the bench.
You mean, Ever, can you ask that more
Sure.
specifically?
Sure. During your investigation, or tell us at any time, not today, have you seen and read that entire posting before? That's my question.
I don't recall what any of the captions stated for the picture, but I do recall seeing the picture before.
Okay, let's put aside the picture just for a moment.
So I just answered that. I don't recall the exact words of the captions, but I have seen that photograph posted to Mr. Thomas's Instagram page.
I understand. Put aside the picture. Have you read, understand you don't have a verbatim memory, have you read that posting that went along with the picture while during this investigation? That's my question.
Your Honor, number one, I object. The witness has stated that she's seen the photograph on Donovan Thomas's page. She has not seen the photograph in the context that was presented to her.
You know, this is inappropriate.
Sustained. You may re-ask the question. You overrule. You may answer that question if you know.
On your oath, have you seen the photograph that you already identified along with that post and those words? That's my question. At any time during the investigation related to this case?
I have seen the photograph and I have seen a caption under the photograph. I do not recall what the caption actually stated.
Okay. What you read today from Mr. Kokomo, is that refresh your memory of what you previously saw or read?
It does not.
All right. Okay, let's go to back to the interview on August 5. You were told by Mr. Zachary that when people made statements to him about this murder and who was involved, Jeffrey had already left the condo. True?
Can you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
Mr. Zachary told you during the interview that the jurors heard, we watched together, that you were present for, that when Mr. Zachary was supposedly told by people that they were involved in this homicide, Mr. Williams had already left his condominium.
I believe that may be true.
With regards to the bus tour shooting, it's April 26, 2015. Mr. Zachary told you that Jeffrey Williams was not involved in that bus tour shooting of the Little Wayne bus tour, right?
He said he was not there, yes.
Not there and didn't know about it until the next day.
Correct.
In fact, Mr. Zachary went further and said that Jeffrey Williams idolizes Dwayne Carter or Little Wayne, right? Yes. When asked whether Jeffrey Williams is the leader of a criminal street gang, YSL, Mr. Zachary said, no, he is not, right?
I don't recall asking that or hearing that.
Let me show you, give me 1 second. You're on that second.
You may.
Come on, Steve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a hole in your head, fucking to me. Many, 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 many,
We're going to play from same
just
exhibit.
on me.
It's an evidence, Your Honor. For your permission. Stage 531 Y. It's 263, Jeffrey went to 263 G. We go back to 263 H. And Mr. Kokomo, plate, Your Honor.
You may, he may.
Do you think that was that murder against him? I saw they get trying to get his name. So there's like no sanctions. If some shit happens, and I'm from Chicago, so I know about gang life and all that stuff. So if there's something done without quote unquote permission from the higher ups, it ain't no kind of bullshit flow down it. That's what I heard. Is it true? He wouldn't even let them start like this. I brought and slow. Take for what about the church? They did. Cleo got full. I'm telling you, son. Take slow. And some like 3 more they country. These people that always look up, son. Always started to be they slow. He loved dogs, so he put and he told her what's going on. And so it
Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
And in that section, that is Jeffrey 1263 G and H, and there was a break in there. I apologize, but that was continuous, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's where Mr. Zachary is asked whether Jeffrey ordered the killing of Mr. Thomas, right?
Yes.
And his answer is no, right?
Yes.
And you explain, I'm from Chicago, and that you need permission from higher ups. I'm not quoting it, but something like that. And Mr. Zachary said, who said that his word is thug? I call him Jeffrey, is the higher. Remember that?
Yes.
All right. And then you said, that's just what I heard. And then Mr. Zachary said he's not the boss, he's not the hire, something like that, right?
Well, Mr. Zachary wasn't to who started it. Just because you don't start a gang doesn't mean you're not a leader.
Yeah, but Mr. Zachary also told you throughout this entire meeting with you that Jeffrey Williams was not involved in the killing of Donovan Thomas. In fact, he learned about it later, right?
Yes, he stated that.
And that Mr. Williams was not involved, as we just said, in the shooting of the little bus tour, or excuse me, Little Wayne bus tour, right?
Yes, he stated that.
And in fact, that Jeffrey Williams rented cars for a lot of people, right?
I don't recall a lot of people those words.
Cars for others. Do you remember that conversation? That topic coming up?
Not renting cars for others, no.
Remember Mr. Zachary explained that he and
Many men, many men wish death upon me.
I personally believe that the both of our grandchildren and our on or before you have her kid, make sure
information to support what he was saying about, remember, having this conversation with him.
Yes.
And do you remember Mr. Cooper saying Mr. Valentine would give him source of collaboration? Like that. So, and you remember Detective Thorpe, your co-worker, whatever, the homicide detective on this matter, being present with you, Detective Davidson and stuff.
And I said, I don't know.
Do you remember it being discussed with Detective Thorpe in your presence and Detective Davidson? Explain that he would allow Mr. Cooper to speak on a non-recorded line before Mr. Rollins.
This is what the investigator said.
You know how to record. This is writing evidence. You like that? I'm going to something else, but in front. You know, like I go into something that's what a couple of those doing it. Okay. I want to continue on with June 10, 2015 interview between you and Mr. Copeland and other investigators. Do you remember from the McDonald's, Mr. Copeland's explaining he's at the McDonald's shortly after the murder, not not sticking to that time or something like that, on January 10, 2015. Yes. And you remember you're explaining that he's in a car. He was going to Mr. Oxford or Howard. And he is following Mr. Slade, no, actually, Mr. Mickey Bentley, or John Trendo's car to Jeffrey Williams' Sky was coming. Do you remember that? Do you remember Steve Thomas? Okay.
Hey, Alex! Slice is a word. My dad's a large pension. Large numbers keeping bells. Jan has reliable.
I'm an HVAC professional, and that's just that. I do see alarms every day. When I recommend high efficiency boilers and water heaters to my customers, Mars is Energy Center certified, so you know you can trust them. I am proud of my smart daughter, and recommend Lars. Learn more at Lars.com/Ray.
I don't know if you guys really understand how bad we were.
How do you recruit players onto a campus that has gone almost 3 years without a win?
I have been
And is it accurate to say, I'm not saying it's accurate in life, but is it accurate to say Mr. Copeland told you that he was following Mr. Bentley's car to the Sky House on Jeffrey Williams? He said, yeah, okay, let's do this without context. It's the same states Tuesday on E is Jeffrey times 2, 57, 47 to 2, 57, 58. This is two separate times that they were in. You understand that this is not for the balance of studies. It's some kind of confusion to different groups, to different contexts. If you remember it, I just stay not confused because this is two separate clips. They're two separate it's just that you to make the jury.